Good evening, students. How is everyone? How did you do your PTP exams? Fine, huh? Okay. PTP exams went nicely. Marks are given already or not given? Not given. So whatever questions you have seen in that exam, those are the very important questions for your board exams also. Okay. So please concentrate on those questions. I'm sure you must have done all the questions correctly. Few mistakes if you have done here and there, try to check. Okay. So as you know, students, we are starting the 5th chapter, magnetism and matter. One class I have already taken. So does anyone remember what I was doing in the last part? I don't expect all of you to remember what exactly I was doing in the last part of the class. I will revise, don't worry, everything. Magnetization, okay. So basically I was talking about magnetic materials. So if you look around the world, so many kinds of elements and compounds are there. So many kinds of materials are there, right? So we want to now understand how they behave when you apply a magnetic field. So when you apply magnetic field to a material, how does the material behave? So that we want to study in this chapter, and later we will study about Earth's magnetic field. So these are the two important parts in this chapter. First is how materials behave when you apply magnetic field, and how to discuss how to find Earth's magnetic field, what are the important terms to find out Earth's magnetic field. So these are the two things important in this chapter. Okay. Before we discuss again, we will start with a small question. If you keep a electric dipole in a electric field, external electric field, what happens? Does it stay like that only? Does the dipole stay like that only, or what happens? If anyone can write. If you apply electric field to a electric dipole, what happens to the dipole? It will oscillate is correct, but what happens immediately once I leave? The moment I leave, what happens to the dipole? It oscillates, could be like this, it oscillates, like this. So what happens? It deflects, yeah. So the best answer would be it rotates. It rotates, and why it rotates if I ask? Why does it rotate? Why does something rotate from rest? Because it experiences a torque. That is the important part. Okay. So the torque experienced formula was Pe sine theta. So this dipole will experience a torque like this, and ultimately in equilibrium, the dipole will come in this direction. The dipole will come in this direction. Okay, let me mute the students first. Okay, let me mute. Yeah. So the dipole will rotate and come in the direction of the external electric field. Similar things happen when you keep a magnetic dipole. So if you have a magnet with south pole and north pole, and you apply a magnetic field, let me write B naught for external magnetic field. So I will write B naught for what? External magnetic field. Okay, so what happens the moment I leave? This will rotate. So the magnet will rotate and come like this. Okay, and the dipole moment of the magnet is directed from south to north. And the formula for the torque will be mb sine theta. So in case of electric dipole, we wrote Pe sine theta. In case of magnetic dipole, a magnet is an example of magnetic dipole. So magnetic moment B sine theta. So this is This was your electric field. Now it is magnetic field. This was your electric dipole moment. Now it is called magnetic dipole moment. But in previous chapter, we also learned that current loops also have a magnetic moment, right? And the formula for magnetic moment, anybody can tell? Formula for magnetic moment of a current loop, current into area. Current into area. Okay, so current is I, area is there, and direction will be found from this right hand thumb rule. So this is your magnetic moment. Understood or not? So if I apply magnetic field this way, the whole current loop will rotate. It will rotate till the magnetic moment will become parallel to magnetic field. So please keep this in mind, okay? Already we have covered these topics. So as I told you, out of so many materials, we classify the magnetic materials into three groups. Within that group also, there will be some classification which we don't have to study. But generally, there will be three groups of these magnetic materials. So the first one is diamagnetic material. Diamagnetic material. Then we have paramagnetic material. Then we have ferromagnetic material. Ferromagnetic material. Okay, so these are the three classification of the materials in terms of how they behave when you apply magnetic field. So let us say I have this magnetic field, uniform magnetic field B0. Okay, so this is in vacuum. How can I create this magnetic field? Anybody? How can I create uniform magnetic field experimentally, if I ask? Experimentally, how do I create a uniform magnetic field? You must have studied in the previous chapter. Solenoid, yeah. So if you take a solenoid and you pass current I, then inside there is a uniform magnetic field. Inside there is a uniform magnetic field. And what was the formula? Mu naught N I. I hope everybody did this derivation, right? We used which law? Ampere's circuital law to derive this formula. Of course, we assume that the solenoid is very long so that outside the magnetic field is zero. Inside the solenoid, magnetic field is uniform. And to find the direction, just use this curl rule. If current is flowing like this, magnetic field will be like this. So this was the magnetic field inside the solenoid. If there is nothing inside the solenoid, then it is vacuum, right? So that time I will now write B naught. So B naught I will write for magnetic field in which material? Vacuum. So imagine I have such kind of magnetic field. Now inside this solenoid, suppose I put a diamagnetic material. Examples you can see in your textbook. Bismuth is an example. So if you put a diamagnetic material, let us say this is diamagnetic material, then this magnetic field will look like this now. So this magnetic field becomes something like this. In other words, the diamagnetic materials will repel the magnetic field lines. Why? That we will see later. First, remember this, which means now whatever is the magnetic field inside the material, will it be same as this? Yes or no? Inside the material, whatever is the magnetic field, will it be same as this or less or more, or what do you think? I hope you remember, closer the lines, stronger the magnetic field, right? Closer the lines, stronger the magnetic field will be. So here the lines are farther. So here magnetic field will be less. So please remember magnetic field B, which I am using for inside the material. So this is magnetic field inside the material. In case of diamagnetic, it will be less than magnetic field outside, matlab external magnetic field. So keep this in your mind. Paramagnetic material, if you keep, then the lines become slightly closer, okay, like this. So here I hope you can clearly see the lines are closer now. So inside the material, magnetic field is now greater than outside. Okay, in ferromagnetic material, it will become something like this. So if you can see, I hope in my diagram it is clear. Whatever happens in paramagnetic, it happens in ferromagnetic also, but it happens with more strength. It happens with more strength. So here, the magnetic field inside will be much larger than outside. Okay, students. So keep this in mind. So now we will have to we will have to find some new terms to understand why magnetic field inside the material in some cases is more than outside, in some cases it is less than outside. So why it happens, for that discussion we have to create some new terminology for only this chapter. Okay, so we will do that. First, I hope all of you got this idea. Okay, done. These diagrams are important. Okay, okay. So to understand why it happens, okay, why the magnetic field inside the material changes compared to outside, it is because in some materials like paramagnetic, there are atoms inside. Those atoms have electrons. Those electrons have two kinds of motion. One is orbital motion, one is spin motion. Because of that, they give rise to current. And whenever there is current, you know they will behave like magnetic dipoles. Yes or no? In some cases, it is possible that the magnetic moment of one electron may cancel the other electron's magnetic moment. So if one electron spins like this and one electron spins like this, they may cancel the magnetic moment. So it is possible in some cases the atoms may have no magnetic moment. Example is diamagnetic material. So in diamagnetic material, the atoms do not have any magnetic moment. But in case of para and ferro, atoms have magnetic moment. So imagine you have a material and there these are the atoms. Right, each atom has a magnetic moment. Okay, so let us say the direction of the magnetic moment is this way. But due to the thermal collision and all, due to the ambient temperature, the dipole moments will be randomly oriented. How they will be oriented? Randomly. So one dipole moment will be here, one will be here, one will be here, one will be here, one will be here, like this. So what happens is the total magnetic moment will be how much? Total magnetic moment, because all these dipole moments are in random direction. So if one vector is positive, another vector will be negative. So total magnetic moment will be 0. Okay, but when you apply external magnetic field, how can you apply external magnetic field? Just now you have discussed. Just put this inside a current carrying solenoid. Put this inside a current carrying solenoid where there is magnetic field. So this magnetic field, under the application of this magnetic field, these dipoles will experience a torque. And because of that, these dipoles will start coming in the same direction. Some of them may not come. Some of them may not come because there is still temperature, right? So temperature will always try to create some amount of disorderliness. Temperature, okay? So due to the temperature around, it is possible that some of them may not be in the same direction. But now if you see the total magnetic moment, can I say for the whole sample, can I say it is 0 now after the application of magnetic field? So after you apply magnetic field, can I say it is 0? No, sir. Okay, so there will be some magnetic moment. Okay, so that is the reason now. See, now I think it is very clear to understand that these dipoles, these magnetic dipoles are like magnets only. So these dipoles will also create their own magnetic field. And therefore, inside the material, the magnetic field will be more than outside in this case. Why more? Because these dipoles are all in the same direction. So they will create magnetic field in the same direction as this magnetic field. So inside the material, the magnetic field will be more. Okay. So the first thing to define is something called magnetization. Very, very important 1-mark definition. Okay, magnetization. Capital M. Okay. So how do you define magnetization? It is very simple. It is the net magnetic moment of a sample per unit volume. Okay, so you take some volume of the sample, 1 meter cube you take, check how many dipoles are in same direction, how many are in other direction, take the components which are in same direction, find the total magnetic moment, divide by the volume. So that is called your net magnetic moment of a sample per unit volume. That is called magnetization. So before you apply the magnetic field to any material, what was the net magnetic moment? 0. So if I ask what was magnetization, that will be 0 before applying any magnetic field. Why? Each atom has magnetic moment, but they are oriented in random directions. For paramagnetic material, I took as an example. So therefore, the total magnetic moment of the sample is 0. So therefore, magnetization is 0. What will be the unit? Unit of magnetization. It is total magnetic moment per unit volume. Magnetic moment is what? Current into area. Area matlab meter square. Current matlab ampere. Right? Volume matlab meter cube. So unit will be ampere per meter. So please remember this, okay? SI unit of magnetization, they will ask you for 1 mark. Ampere per meter. How it comes? Total magnetic moment per unit volume. Magnetic moment already you know, current into area. Current is area, current is amperes, area is meter square. This is not area, this is amperes. This is area meter square, divide by volume meter cube. Then you will get ampere per meter. It's not very common, so try to remember. Okay. The second important thing I want to study is something called permeability. Today's class will be mostly theory based, okay? Theory based. Permeability symbol we write mu. And you should never say permeability is how much. You should always ask permeability of a medium. Permeability of a medium, okay? Definition I will not give right now, but I will try to explain how this permeability comes. So look here. Imagine I take a solenoid, I connect a battery, okay, battery, and you know current will flow. Once current flows, there will be inside magnetic field. And that magnetic field, when nothing is there in the material, how do we write? Mu naught Ni. This mu naught is what we call permeability of which medium? Vacuum. Okay. However, suppose now in this same solenoid, suppose I put a material. I put some material, maybe iron rod. The iron rod is very easy to find. Nails, you can put nails, iron nails. So if you put iron rod inside, now the magnetic field inside, Will it be same or different? Already I have explained. Only same or different you tell. It will be different, right? Okay. Now, if this is different, then something here should be different. Is current different here? Is current different? No, current is same. Number of turns per unit length. Is it different? No, number of turns per unit length is same only. So this quantity must change. So here we write mu Ni. Okay. So here this quantity should change. So this is permeability of vacuum when nothing is there. When some material is there, that time we write mu, and this mu is what we call permeability of this medium. Of this medium. Okay, this medium. So you can clearly see if permeability is more, magnetic field will be more or less. Obviously more, sir, it is proportional. So if permeability of medium is more, then magnetic field inside the material will be more. That means these magnetic field lines will be more concentrated. Understood or not? It will be more concentrated. Understood? That is why it is called permeability. Permeability, if you try to expand, it is nothing but ability to permeate. Ability to permeate. Permeate word means what? Permeate word means to enter. To enter. Permeate word means to enter. Okay, so if permeability is more, what does it mean? It means more lines of magnetic field can enter the medium. That is why we say it has more permeability. Okay. Fine, students. Make a note quickly. So that is how permeability can be discussed. Now, do you remember what was epsilon divided by epsilon r, epsilon naught called? What was this called? Epsilon, if you remember, was permittivity of medium. This was permittivity of vacuum. This was called, no, name, not symbol. Dielectric constant is correct, but we call it relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. And we wrote the symbol epsilon r. We wrote the symbol epsilon r, right? Same thing we will do now. So let us now discuss quickly relative permeability. Mu r. Again, since permeability belongs to some medium, relative permeability also belongs to some medium. Okay. So what is relative permeability? It is the permeability of the medium divided by permittivity of vacuum. Exactly same as here. Which means this formula for magnetic field inside the material. Please understand, this is magnetic field inside the material. That can be now written this way also. Mu naught, mu r, Ni. Right? This formula I can also write this way. Because mu is nothing but if I cross multiply mu naught, mu r. All these are terminologies which we need to continue the class. That's why we have to spend some time discussing them. And they will be asked for 1 mark questions. Okay, which one will be asked, not sure. All the definitions you can find in our EPL. Okay. The next thing I want to discuss is something called magnetic intensity. Magnetic intensity. We write the symbol capital H. Okay, that is very, very important. And we also call this sometimes, I don't like this name very much. I like the next name, or magnetizing field. Magnetizing field. So many students get confused between this capital H and capital B. Okay, because this is your magnetic field in the material. This is also called magnetizing field. So let me try to remove the confusion. Concentrate nicely. Okay, look this formula only. Look this formula. B equals to mu n I. This is magnetic field in material. Correct? No. Magnetic field in material. Now, tell me something. Out of these three, which one depends only on external factors and not on the material? Which one depends on the external factors and not on the material? External means external to the material, outside the material. Out of this. Permeability depends on external material, external. So one will answer means others will also answer, I know. Okay. Permittivity, yeah. All are writing wrong spelling. Okay. So I asked, see, this is what happens if one student writes the answer, others will not think and write the answer directly. My question was, out of these three factors, which one depends on external factors, not on the material? So what depends on the external factors? It is current and N. Current and N. What is N? Number of turns per unit length. This formula, I hope you remember, right? We have done in the previous chapter. So if you look at this formula, this how many numbers are here? That depends on the solenoid. It is not number of turns, it is number of turns per unit length. So how many turns are here? That has nothing to do with material. No, whether I put iron, whether I put copper, whether I put aluminium, the number of turns here does not depend on this material. Similarly, how much current is flowing here? How much current is flowing in the wire of the solenoid will depend on the solenoid, not on this material. Agree or not? How much current is flowing in the wire depends on the battery and the resistance. It does not depend whether you have here copper wire or iron wire or whatever wire inside the material. Agree, right? Okay. So these two are the external factors. Okay, but this depends on the medium. Mu depends on medium. So now if I ask, I want to create a quantity which should depend only on the external factors. It should not depend on what is happening inside the material. Listen carefully. I want to invent one quantity which depends only on the external factors. Matlab, how much current is there? What is the number of turns per unit length? I'm not interested to know what material is inside. In that case, what I should do? To make that quantity, I will divide this B by what? If I divide this B by what? Mu. Then whatever will I get here will be how much? Ni. Understood? And this quantity will not depend on the material. This quantity does not depend on the material. Okay, students, and this quantity is what we call magnetic intensity. So what is magnetic intensity? It is the magnetic field in the material divided by permeability of the medium. But why am I trying to divide by the permeability of the material? That you have to try to understand. I'm doing this so that whatever comes here, that has nothing to do with material. So please keep in mind, magnetic intensity is a quantity which depends only on the external factors like the current and the number of turns. So if you increase the current, this will increase. But inside the material, what is the total magnetic field? That has nothing to do with capital H. Capital H depends only on the external factors. Magnetic field will obviously depend on the material also, mu also, but this does not depend on the material. Clear or not clear? Clear, right? So see, I could have directly told you magnetic intensity is equal to B by mu like that. Directly I could have told you, but I wanted to tell you the reason behind why we are doing this, so that we will have some quantity which will tell us the reason why the material is getting magnetized. So the material is getting magnetized. Magnetized matlab what, sir? Magnetized matlab all those atoms which were there. Remember I told, when they come in the same direction, that is called magnetization. So when the atoms in the material, when all of them are lined in the same direction, then we say the material is getting magnetized. So we want to know who is responsible for the magnetization. So who is responsible for the magnetizing, for magnetization? It is actually this one. You understood why? Because this is the external factor. This is what happens after it gets magnetized, because this depends on permeability of the material also. So I hope everything is clear. Yes or no? So let me give you some example. Imagine there is a group of people who are randomly, one is looking this side, one is looking that side, like that. There's a small area in where there are some people and they are looking in random direction. Now I send a group of army. They come and they start kicking everyone and say, hey, you come in the same line, you come in the same line, you come in the same line. Now, if I ask you, who is responsible for making the people come in the same direction? Will you include the people also which are there in the field, or only the army? Who is responsible for all the people aligned in the same direction? Only the army or the people inside also? Only the army, right? So only the army is responsible for making the people see in the same direction. But if I ask you, like, how much effect we got, what is the, how many people are looking in the same direction? If I ask, that will depend on the people also and army also. Agree or not? How many people are looking in the same direction? If I ask, that will depend on the people. Some people may say, no, I will not listen to you, like that. So what will happen inside the material, that will depend on the material also. But what is responsible for making the atoms align, that depends only on this H. And that is the reason why I call this H magnetizing field. So think of this like army. But in exam, don't write. Okay, this is the reason. This current was the reason, right? Current is the main reason. This current produces the magnetic field which will magnetize the material. Okay. Tell me quickly unit of magnetic intensity. Unit of magnetic intensity. That will be also asked for 1 mark. SI unit of magnetic intensity. Ampere per meter. Same answer you will get. Why? Because it is Ni. Right? Ni. And what is N? Number of turns per unit length. So this is current. So it will be ampere per length. Length will be meter. So it will be ampere per meter. So please remember SI unit of magnetic. Don't use this formula to find unit. That will take more time. Don't use this formula to find the unit of this. It will take more time. Use this formula. Because what is B? B is mu Ni. No. Divided by mu. Mu cancel. Ni. So use this formula. It will be easy. Current is ampere. What is small n? Number of turns per unit length. Per unit length means what? Divide by meter. So it will be ampere per meter. So one thing you should remember, that capital M and capital H have what unit? Capital M and capital H have what unit? Same or different? Same unit. So try to remember that. It will be useful for us. Okay. Now there is a quantity called last. This is which number? E, I think. The last one is called magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility. Magnetic susceptibility. The word susceptible means how sensitive you are. So if there is a student who is who cries immediately, the teacher is scolding, then we say she is very sensitive. She is very susceptible to scolding. So susceptible means too much sensitive. Okay. So magnetic susceptibility. This is a quantity which we write this symbol. Like this symbol we write. It is called chi. Okay. It is a Greek alphabet. Like this we have to write. M means magnetic susceptibility. Now how this comes? Very simple. Look here. The atoms which are there in the material, initially they are oriented in what direction? Random direction. Then when you apply this external magnetic field, this magnetizing field I should say now, when you apply this magnetizing field, those atoms will start coming in the same direction. As they come in the same direction, magnetization will increase or not? It will increase. So therefore, magnetization is directly proportional to the magnetic intensity for linear magnetic materials. Okay. This part, if you don't want to write, it's okay. So the magnetization which happens in the material obviously will depend on the army. If stronger army comes, more people will come in the same direction. So magnetization will increase. Understanding or not? Magnetization, you remember? No, hey, you people forgot what is magnetization. Total magnetic moment per unit volume. Understood, right? So when the atoms were in random direction, this was 0. So magnetization was 0. Once you apply the magnetizing field, I can now speak in that word now. As you apply the magnetizing field by putting the material inside the solenoid, as you increase the magnetizing field by increasing the current, more and more atoms will start coming in the same direction. Therefore, your magnetization will also increase. So if I write equal to, some constant will come. That constant is what we call susceptibility. That constant is what is called susceptibility of the medium. So if they ask for definition, what will you write? It is the ratio of magnetization and magnetic intensity. It is the ratio of magnetization and magnetic intensity. For 1 mark, if they ask, write that one. It is the ratio of magnetization to the magnetic intensity. Unit, anybody? SI unit of susceptibility. No unit. Because these two have same unit. These two have same unit. Yeah, Ravi Kumar, correct. Unitless. I think now you can understand why it is called susceptible. Imagine there is a group of people here, group of people here. One group of people, two group of people. Now I send same army. Now these people are turning very quickly. These people are saying, hey, we don't care like that. Then who is more susceptible to the army? This is more susceptible to the army. That means if the atoms come in the same direction, when you apply same magnetizing field. So if you apply same magnetizing field and if atoms come in the same direction quickly, then this will be more. That means this is more for that material. Understood? That is why this is called susceptibility. So more the susceptibility, if this is more, what does it mean? It means more will be magnetization for same magnetizing field. So if this is 1000 and this is 1, this will be 1000 into 1. If this is 1 and this is 1, this will be only 1. So if this is more, you will get more magnetization. More magnetization means atoms will come in the same direction more easily than compared to the material which has less susceptibility. Okay, students, so keep that in mind. More susceptibility means more magnetization for same edge. Finally, I want to derive one relation between susceptibility, magnetic susceptibility and relative permeability. Okay, because both belongs to a medium. So if there is any relationship, it would be nice to know. So what is the relation between magnetic susceptibility and relative permeability? So for that, look here. The magnetic field in the material, okay, the magnetic field inside the material. Let me write the name also. The magnetic field inside the material will be due to external magnetic field, whatever was the external magnetic field, plus due to magnetization. This is due to magnetization. This is due to the atoms which are inside the material. So when you apply this much magnetic field to a material, what I told, atoms in the material, their dipoles will come in the same direction. Yes or no? So that will create this magnetization, will create another magnetic field inside the material. Understood? So total magnetic field will be this plus this. Okay? So this is your external magnetic field. In exam, please write full spelling. And this is magnetic field due to magnetization. Magnetization. Clear? Till here clear? This is understandable, or you want more explanation? If it is clear, I'll continue. Whatever is the total magnetic field inside the material has to be due to the contribution of whatever external was there, which depends on the current and number of turns, plus the magnetic field due to the atoms themselves. Okay, so that is called magnetic field due to magnetization. Now, this B naught I can write, if you remember, mu naught into Ni. No, and this Ni is what we call H. Right, H, capital H. This Ni is what we call capital H. So I can write B naught as mu naught H plus these students, concentrate this part. This one should depend on magnetization. So I should have magnetization here. But dimensionally, this will be wrong. Dimensionally, this will be wrong because these two have same unit or not? Hello? These two have same unit or not? So if this is there, this is mu naught itself has some unit. So to keep the dimension same, it is important we write mu naught here also. So to keep the dimension same and therefore the units same, it is important we keep mu naught here. Okay. So that way you can remember. So this B naught is from here, and this Bm, which is magnetic field due to magnetization, is due to magnetization. Right? Since this is due to magnetization, it should depend on the magnetization. So B equal to mu naught common H plus M. Now we want to derive relation between what? Susceptibility and relative permeability. So let us bring susceptibility. From where susceptibility will come? What was susceptibility definition? M by H. Correct or not? So therefore, I can write M equals to susceptibility magnetic susceptibility into H. Let us substitute this here. In NCERT, if you see, it is very difficult to understand. Okay, so please try to focus. So M will be what? Chi M, magnetic susceptibility into H. Right till here? Okay. So then I can now take, this is mu naught, 1 plus chi M, H common. Right? I took H common. Now, to bring relative permeability, what is B equals to? Mu H, right? So mu I can write mu naught, mu R, H. So if I substitute this B here, I'll get mu naught, mu R, H equal to mu naught 1 plus susceptibility H. So common things you cancel, H, H, mu naught, mu naught. So your relative permeability is 1 plus susceptibility. Very, very important, especially for your entrance exams. So relative permeability is 1 plus magnetic susceptibility. And you can see relative permeability also has no unit, remember, because relative permeability is mu by mu naught. So this is permeability of medium by permeability of vacuum. So both are permeability, so unit will cancel. So no unit, and one we all know has no unit. Done, students? Okay. So let me try to quickly revise once. Okay, what are the important things I did just now? So what are the important things? The first thing is magnetization. So magnetization means what? When you apply some external magnetic field to a material, the atomic dipoles which are inside the material, they feel a torque and they come in the same direction. So the total magnetic moment increases. So to express the total magnetic moment of the sample, we have invented this quantity, which is total magnetic moment per unit volume. Right? Then I told you that if you apply any, if you put a material in a solenoid, the total magnetic field, usually we used to write what formula? Mu naught Ni. But in material, we write mu Ni. Okay, so mu is the permeability of the medium. Then we also invented one quantity which does not depend on the medium, which only depends on the external factors. How we created? Simple. We divided this by mu. We divided this by mu. So that whatever will come now, mu will cancel. No, if you put this B here, mu will cancel. So this quantity does not depend on the material. And finally, if you want to build a relation between relative permeability and susceptibility, it is mu R equals to 1 plus chi. So try to remember these basic formulas. One more you can add. This susceptibility is M by H. Okay, so these are the important formulae which are there for this discussion. Okay, so now for your exam purpose, one 3-mark question is very common, and that is distinguish between diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material, ferromagnetic material. So I will give you some 4 or 5 differences. 3 at least you have to try to remember anyhow. So dia, para, ferro. First difference is, okay, Now, before I explain the first difference, you need to understand something. As I told you, in para, the atoms will have dipole moment. The atoms will have dipole moment. Usually, no, in this kind of atoms, the number of electrons will be odd. So if it is even, in diamagnetic, there will be even number of electrons. And I hope you know electrons pair and stay together. You know that or not, spin up and spin down in one subshell. In one subshell, one electron will be there with spin up, one electron will be there will spin down. You have heard of that or not in first PU? Yeah. So that spin up and spin down will cancel their magnetic moment. So total atom will not have magnetic moment for this material. So for diamagnetic, the atoms will be there. Obviously, atoms will be there. No, where it will go? Atoms will be there, but magnetic moment will not be there. So I'm not showing any arrow. And here, if you remember, I told what will be there. Domains will be there. Domains. Domains. In one domain, all the dipoles will be in same direction. In another domain, dipoles will be in opposite direction. So again, the total magnetization is 0 here also, it is 0 here also, and of course here it is 0 only. Now, when you apply external magnetic field, V naught, which is related to H, right? Mu naught H. So I can say when I apply H also, because this is just a number, right? Constant. So when I apply external magnetic field, or you can say when I apply external magnetizing field. No need to use external word also, because we know this depends only on external factor. So when I apply magnetizing field, all these atoms come in the same direction. Okay. Here, of course, here also they come in the same direction. So here magnetic field inside is greater than outside. Here also it is much greater than outside. Here what happens that I did not discuss last class, if you remember. So here when you apply external magnetic field, students, you'll be surprised the atoms will get magnetic moment now. Matlab, this magnetic field will induce magnetic moment in each of these atoms, but in opposite direction. Opposite direction. Now the reason for this is actually called Lenz's law. And Lenz's law is taught in next chapter. So you will have to wait for some time before you understand why this is happening. Now, if I explain, it will be too difficult because first I have to explain Faraday's law. After explaining Faraday's law, I have to explain. Okay, now, so just try to remember in diamagnetic material, the external magnetic field will induce magnetic moments in opposite direction for each atom. That is the reason why this will have magnetization in this direction. Understanding or not? That is the reason why the total magnetic field is less than outside. Is it clear now why it is less? Because this will create magnetic field in this direction, opposite to this one. So total will be this minus this. Clear or not clear? Here total will be external plus magnetization. Here also external plus magnetization. But here it will be opposite. External minus magnetization. So total magnetic field here will be less than outside. Clear or not clear? Okay. So that you please remember, okay? Again, for exam purpose, you don't have to know these things, but for understanding the differences, you should know that. So in paramagnetic material, what happens is they are weakly attracted by strong magnets. They are weakly attracted by strong magnets. Okay, here they are. I told you whatever this will show with more strength. So they are strongly attracted by strong magnets. Okay, they are strongly attracted by strong magnets. Dia, I told, will have opposite behavior. So they are weakly repelled by strong magnets. They are weakly repelled by strong magnets. Okay, so this is how you should try to remember. Now, easy way to remember is ferro. Iron is an example of ferromagnetic material, iron. And you all know iron is very strongly attracted to magnets. Yes or no? Iron is strongly attracted to magnets. So here, ferromagnetic materials are strongly attracted to magnets. Here, weakly attracted to magnets. And here ulta it will do, it will be weakly repelled by magnets, weakly repelled, okay? Which also means you can also write this way, that this one, since let us say this is the magnet, look carefully, imagine this is the magnet. Now I hope you remember magnetic field lines look like this, right? So if I keep here a paramagnetic material, what happens they told? It is weakly attracted, right? That means this will always move from weaker magnetic field region to stronger magnetic field region. Artha, this is moving from which region to which region? Weaker magnetic field region to stronger magnetic field region. This will also do the same thing, but don't write that, because if you write those two as separate points, teachers may think, arey, that is same only. How you are writing them separately, so they may not give you marks. But whatever you wrote here can also be written like, in paramagnetic, they feel a force and therefore they move from where to where? Weaker magnetic field region to stronger. Here, what in from where to where they will move? So if this is your magnetic field, they will feel force this way. So here they will feel force from stronger magnetic field region to weaker magnetic field region. In fact, no, in some experiments you can find in YouTube where they will put a frog, and they will here solenoid, they will put solenoid, they'll pass huge current in the solenoid that will create magnetic field like this. And these atoms in the frog which behave like diamagnetic material, I will give reason later. So those atoms which behave like diamagnetic material, this material is like diamagnetic. So it will feel a force from stronger magnetic field region to weaker magnetic field region. So with that force, you can balance the watt of the frog. You can balance the watt, mg. So you can put the weight of the frog. So you can put the frog in mid-air like this, okay? Japan has lifted not frogs, Japan has lifted whole train only. They have lifted the whole train, and the train will move in basically cushion of air. So since there is no friction, it can travel very, very fast. So it is called magnetic levitation. Magnetic levitation. Magnetic levitation. Simply I'm telling you, it is not there for your exam. Magnetic levitation, okay? Fine. So that is the first thing to remember. Second thing, look here. Here, if you remember, here, don't write this, okay? For exam, you have to write in a different way. Magnetic levitation, okay? Levitation. Now, for diamagnetic material, please listen carefully. B is less than B naught, I told. Remember or not? Now, B, how I can write? Mu into H less than. B naught, how I, don't write this. If you want to write separately, you write. B naught, how I can write? Mu naught into H. H cancel. So, mu is less than mu naught. If I bring mu naught this side, mu by mu naught is less than 1. What is mu by mu naught? Mu by mu naught. Mu R is less than 1. Okay, so this is true for diamagnetic material. For para, if I try to do fast, B is greater than B naught. Inside the material, magnetic field is more than outside the material. Inside, how do we write? Mu H. Inside, mu naught, sorry, this is inside, this is outside. Mu naught H. H cancel. So mu by mu naught is greater than 1. So mu r is greater than 1. Okay, so this becomes a very, very important difference. So for exam purpose, what you should write, with spelling you have to write, with spelling, okay? Relative permeability, relative permeability, ability, mu r is less than 1. Here what you should write, I will write greater than 1. Okay, but in exam, please write the name. Can anyone tell me here what symbol I should write? Less than 1, equal to 1. Greater than 1. Third, again, very, very important, interesting difference. Let us go back to the derivation which I did. Mu r equals to 1 plus susceptibility. Not visible, no? Then Tejaswini will complain again. Tejaswini, visible or not? I am writing this side also today. Now puja is going in my home, so some sound will come. Can't say noise, okay? Okay, now look this formula. Look this formula. If this quantity is less than 1, then what should be this? If this quantity is less than 1, put any number less than 1 and try to calculate this. What will you get? Negative you will get. So very, very important difference, okay? Magnetic susceptibility, susceptibility is small negative number, okay? Here susceptibility is small positive number, and here you know what to write, is large positive number. Okay, this Friday class I will do some MCQs that will be for NEET people also. So even NEET people have to see the Friday class. NEET people, are you there? One student also is there or not there? So you have to see the Friday class. So that time when I solve, you will see some values of susceptibility, okay, for different material. So these three differences, try to remember for your exam. That much will be enough. So remember, in diamagnetic material, the atoms do not have any dipole moment. Basically, they have even number of electrons. So one electron's magnetic moment will cancel the other electron's magnetic moment. So atom as a whole doesn't have magnetic moment. But when you apply external magnetic field, they get induced magnetic moment in opposite direction. And that is why the total magnetic field inside the material is less than outside. But why it got induced in opposite direction, sir? That we have to study in next chapter. For para and ferro, it is very easy because in para and ferro already there are dipoles. Atoms behave like magnetic dipoles, right? Those which have odd number of electrons. So when you apply external magnetic field, they will experience torque. Because of torque, they come in the same direction. Sir, will this ask, what is the question? Sir, will they ask this question for 3 marks? I told no before. So what was I saying? When you apply external magnetic field, those atoms will feel that magnetic moments of the atoms will experience the torque, and therefore they will align in the same direction. That process is called magnetization, and that magnetization will result in another magnetic field inside the material. So total magnetic field inside the material for para and ferro will be more than outside. Okay. This chapter is only for 3 marks. Okay. I think 5 marks. but then they still ask 1 mark questions from this chapter. So you can't ask 4 mark questions. So it becomes 2 mark and 3 mark. Okay. Now, one important difference we have to realize between paramagnetic and ferromagnetic. We have seen that para and ferro are behaving almost the same way. Yes or no? Only thing is ferro is showing it more. But one very important difference between para and ferro is this. Look here. That topic we will study under hysteresis. 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 Okay. This word actually means lagging behind. Lagging behind. Okay. So lagging behind. So please try to observe carefully. Suppose I plot magnetic field inside the material and magnetizing field. And what field? Magnetizing field. Okay, now you know that this has two parts, B naught plus due to magnetization. Please remember, okay, this has two parts. One is the external, one is due to the magnetization of the material, which basically means atoms coming in the same direction. Now listen carefully. When your applied magnetic, sorry, this is magnetization. Okay. So when you apply, when your magnetic intensity is 0, when your magnetic intensity is 0, meaning you are not applying any current in the solenoid. No current in the solenoid. So there is no external magnetic field. So if this is 0, what will be the magnetization? So imagine there is a material. I put a solenoid. So suppose I don't pass any current right now. So what will be the magnetization of this material? Whether it is para, ferro or dia, it doesn't matter. It will be 0, right? Okay. So it starts with 0. So when H is 0, magnetization is also 0. Now let me close the switch. And using this variable resistor, let me increase the current. So as I increase the current, this magnetic intensity will increase. So as this H will increase, the external magnetic field, the army, that is increasing. The strength of the army is increasing. So what will happen? More and more atoms will start turning in the same direction. Right? So magnetization will also increase. Right? That's why if you remember, I wrote M proportional to H. I hope you remember that, right? So the graph will go like this. After your magnetic intensity has reached some value or magnetizing field has reached some value, this graph will go like this. Will become flat. Can you think why it became flat like this? The reason is now the army has used all its strength to make all the people see in the same direction. So now once all the atoms in the material, once the magnetic moment of all the atoms are in same direction, now will you be able to get more magnetization? Once all the atoms are pointing in the same direction, now you will not be able to get more magnetization, right? Because already maximum are looking in the same direction. So this is called saturation. Saturation. Okay. So when saturation will reach, all the atomic dipoles are in same direction. Now listen carefully. If it is paramagnetic material, so H has reached till here, M has reached till here. Now what I will do, I will reduce the current. I will reduce the current using this variable resistance. I will reduce the current and I'll make it 0. So if I make the current 0, this H will also come back to 0. For paramagnetic material, you will see this M will also become 0. Understood or not? Matlab, once the army goes away, now all the people are again random. All the people are looking again randomly. So again, magnetization will become 0 for paramagnetic material. So for paramagnetic material, this graph will look like this. While increasing H, it will go like this. While decreasing H, it will come back like this. Okay, so when H is made 0, M also becomes 0 for paramagnetic material. That means if when you keep inside the solenoid and you apply large current so that this H is very large, then all the dipoles will turn in the same direction. So now basically it has become like a magnet now. Now it will produce a very strong magnetic field. But once you take it outside, if you take this outside, then what is the external magnetic field now? 0. So again the dipoles will turn in the random direction. Understood or not? So basically they forget that they were magnetized. So in paramagnetic materials, there is no memory. But the moment you bring them out of this magnetic field, all the atoms will orient in random direction. So again, the total magnetization will become 0. Understood this part? Okay. Now, hysteresis is not that. Okay, hysteresis is not that. Hysteresis is for some special kind of ferromagnetic materials. In ferromagnetic materials also, for some of them, this only will happen. But in some ferromagnetic materials, which are called hard ferromagnetic materials, hard word they use. For such kind of materials, very interesting thing happens. Try to concentrate, okay? So what happens is, so this is your H, this is your M. Let me try to show you picture also. So right now the atoms are in random direction. Atoms are in random direction is not a very nice sentence. The atomic moment, the atomic dipole moments are oriented in random direction. Now, so right now, when there is no external magnetizing field, when this is 0, this is also 0. Right now. Now I put this inside a solenoid and I increase the magnetizing field. As I increase the magnetizing field, I see more and more dipoles come in the same direction. When all of them come in the same direction, my graph will look like this. So it will become saturated. Like exactly same like before. Now, if you reduce the magnetic field to 0, if you reduce the current to 0, matlab if you reduce the magnetizing field to 0, listen carefully. Matlab, even if there is no external magnetic field, you will not see complete randomness. You will see something like this. Something like this. In other words, most of the atoms will still align in the same direction. In which kind of materials? Ferromagnetic materials, that also hard ferromagnetic materials. So when you bring this coordinate to 0, this coordinate doesn't come to 0. It stops somewhere here. So there is some amount of magnetization left in the material. Matlab, the graph goes like this while increasing H. M also increases. But while bringing H to 0, this coordinate doesn't go to 0. It stops somewhere here. So the graph goes like this. Like this. Okay. So try to, this much part you have understood, students. This much part you have understood what is happening. And all this happens now, if you think carefully, it is because of the domains. So if you remember, in ferromagnetic materials, there are some domains which makes the atom stay in the same direction. So because of that interaction, even when the external magnetic field is reduced to 0, your magnetization has not gone to 0. This much amount of magnetization is left in the material. that amount is called, if I call this O and this as, let's say, A, and this is B, then this OB is called retentivity. Retentivity. What is the meaning of this retentivity? The amount of magnetization left in the material even after external magnetic field is zero, is reduced to zero. Is reduced to zero. So this part is clear or not clear till here? So what has happened? You have increased the current, which increases the external magnetic field, this H. So as H increases, more and more dipoles, they feel torque. So they come in the same direction. So once all of them are aligned in the same direction, your magnetization has reached maximum value. So this is your maximum value, saturation value. Okay. After that, when you bring this to zero, this magnetization doesn't go back to zero. It stops somewhere here, or maybe here, or here. That depends on the kind of material. But the point is, some magnetization is left in the material even after there is no army. Matlab, army has gone, but some people are still pointing in the same direction. In other words, it is like they have some memory. It's like, they remember that I was magnetized. I have to stay in the same direction like that. So that is one of the very interesting and important property of ferromagnetic materials. Because of this property, ferromagnetic materials are used as storage devices. Nowadays, I know many other things have come, but long back, ferromagnetic materials here were used for memory storage. Are you getting the point or not? The graph is not complete, but till here you tell me understood or not. Till here everybody understood, right? Okay. So now, so if this is ferromagnetic material, if this is ferromagnetic material, what you can do? Put this inside a current carrying solenoid. Increase the current so that all the dipoles are in same direction. Then you take it out. After taking out also, many of them will be still in the same direction. In other words, now you have created what? Can you give me the word? What you have created? Before it was just one ferromagnetic iron rod. But once you have magnetized it, and now even if you take it out, most of the atoms, so now you have not electromagnet. Electromagnet means you still need current. Now you have created permanent magnet. The magnets which are sold in the shops, the ones which are found in physics laboratory. So all those permanent magnets are created this way. Understood? Understood or not? Hemant, listen carefully, Hemant. Initially the dipoles are in same direction or random direction? Initially, Hemant, initially the dipoles are oriented in same direction or random direction? Because of the temperature, I told you they will always be in what direction? Random direction or same direction? Random. So total magnetization was zero, right? When you apply external magnetic field, I told you all those dipoles will experience torque. So they will come in the same direction, right? So now all the dipoles are pointing in the same direction means what? Magnetic field produced by each atom will add and it will create a strong magnetic field outside. Understood? No? So that is your basically a magnet. But if it is paramagnetic material, if you take them out of the solenoid, again all the dipoles will become random. But if it is ferromagnetic, hard ferromagnetic materials, then most of the dipoles will still stay in the same direction. for reasons which you will only understand when you study quantum mechanics. It is called spin coupling exchange forces, which we don't have to study right now. But still, you can feel it because there is domains. In those domains, if you remember, dipoles are in same direction. So in ferromagnetic material, after you magnetize them, even if you remove them from the solenoid, the magnetization is still left. Some amount of magnetization is still left. And that's why they act like magnet. And that's why we call them permanent. That is how we create permanent magnets. Okay. So this quantity is called what? Retentivity. Retentivity. Okay. How much magnetization is left in the material. So it is very clear, if you want to make permanent magnets, then this retentivity should be large or small. This retentivity should be large or small. If you want permanent magnets, large. So depending on different materials, this graph will be different. So when you buy the material, you have to ask, does this material have large retentivity or not? Those which have large retentivity are used for permanent magnets. And one more important term is there, which I will discuss. Before that, I think now we can understand how magnets were found. You remember that Shepherd, Magnus story, you remember or not? Magnus, this Shepherd. This was the starting long back I told, right? You remember this boy who was hitting ships, and one day he was hitting some stones and he found those stones are magnet actually. So I think now you can understand how those magnets are formed. See, in our Earth's crust, on our Earth's surface, there must be stones containing iron. There must be stones containing iron, and iron is a good ferromagnetic material. And long back when Earth was formed, probably lightnings and all must have happened. So when lightning must have occurred, huge amount of current may have been produced on the surface, and huge current will produce what? Huge current will produce huge external magnetic field, and that magnetic field must have magnetized the stones which contain ferromagnetic material like iron. And once it was magnetized, even after the lightning is switched off, it doesn't matter. Since it is ferromagnetic, some amount of magnetization will be left, and therefore they became magnets which were found by Magnus. Nice or not? Okay. Now listen carefully. Remaining part of the graph also let us complete. Now I told you from here to here some amount of magnetization is left. Now suppose you want to say, no sir, I want to completely destroy the magnetization. You want to destroy the magnetization. Then what you have to do? You have to apply current. Before, if current was going like this, now you have to apply current in opposite direction like this. Matlab, if you apply current in opposite direction, before magnetizing field was this way, now it will be this way. So if you apply this negative matlab opposite direction, this magnetization will drop, and then somewhere here it will become 0. Okay, and this quantity OC is called coercivity. Coercivity. What does it mean? Simple, from graph only you can understand. It is the reverse magnetic field, reverse magnetic intensity required to make the magnetization, how much? To make the whatever magnetization was there, by applying reverse magnetic field, how much it became? 0. Okay, in exam you write with spelling, okay, ZERO. So by applying this much reverse magnetic field, the magnetization will become 0. So these two are very important definitions that they will ask for 1 mark. Sometimes they will ask this, sometimes they will ask this. Now suppose you continue to apply in the opposite direction. Suppose you keep increasing the current. So now, before, your magnetic field was this way when current was flowing this way, right? This way. Now you are applying magnetic field this way. Okay, na? So now if you keep increasing this magnetic field, this side, then now what will happen? Now dipoles will start orienting in which direction? Opposite direction. So now these dipoles will start turning this direction. Okay, so your magnetization will start going like this. Graph will go like this. And somewhere it will again become saturated. Saturated. No need to draw this one. So as you keep increasing reverse magnetic field, opposite direction magnetic field, the dipoles will now start turning in this direction. So before magnetization was in this direction, positive. Now it will be in this direction, negative. Okay. And then it will become saturated. Saturated means once all the dipoles are in opposite direction. Now again you apply reverse magnetic field. For this, reverse will be this, right? So again the graph will follow the same path. Instead of going back to 0, it will go here and stop. So again this much amount of magnetization will be left. And then if you apply positive magnetic field, it can again go like this and become 0 here. So this is your coercivity, you can say. And then as you keep increasing the magnetic field this way, it will become saturated this way. So this graph is what we call hysteresis loop. Hysteresis loop. I hope very easy to understand, right? Whatever I discuss this way, same thing you do this way. So you keep applying reverse magnetic field. Now dipoles will orient in opposite direction till all of them have reached saturation. Then if you want to bring it to 0, again you have to apply reverse magnetic field to this magnetic field. So again if you apply reverse magnetic field to this magnetic field, then again the magnetization will decrease, but it will not become 0. It will stop somewhere here. So to make it 0, again you have to apply this much amount of reverse magnetic field. Then it will become 0. Then if you continue again this way, again the dipoles will come in the same direction till all of them will be in the same direction, which is called saturation. So try to remember this graph. Finally, I will tell you why it is called hysteresis. Finally, I will tell you why it is called hysteresis. Hysteresis word means what I told, lagging behind. Lagging behind. Okay. So I will tell you that, then we'll stop. Okay, tell me when at the start, what was M, what was H? Quickly, we don't have time. Only 4 minutes is there. So at the start of the experiment, what was capital M, what was capital H? At the start, what was the values we started with? 0, 0, right? 0, 0. Then what we did, we started increasing. Then we started increasing the magnetizing field, or it is called magnetic intensity, right? We started increasing. So after this reached some value, HM, let's say, plus HM, magnetization also became maximum, saturation, plus, right? Where it is here somewhere, this is. When this reached, when H became HM, your magnetization y coordinate became ms, right? Okay. Then when I brought this back to 0, it became 0 or not 0? Did it become 0? Yes or no? That much you tell. When I brought this back to 0, this y coordinate became 0? No, it did not become 0. This much amount was left. So if I call this part MR, why R? Retentivity, then this will be MR. So it is like, look here, two friends started together, M and H, same units also, no, same friends. No need to write this, okay, just for understanding I wrote. So they start together, they reach some value, right? Then one of them came back to 0, other one did not come back to 0. Can you see or not? So who is lagging behind? M is lagging behind or H is lagging behind? M is lagging behind. So this lagging behind of M is what we call hysteresis. So let us write the definition and stop. So I hope you understood the definition, right? So what is hysteresis if they ask? Hysteresis, write down. It is the lagging behind of magnetization. It is the lagging behind of magnetization with respect to magnetizing field or magnetic intensity when a ferromagnetic material is taken through when a ferromagnetic material is taken through a, or you can write like this, when a ferromagnetic material is magnetized and demagnetized. Okay, so as you try to magnetize and demagnetize, magnetize means you are making the dipoles come in the same direction. Demagnetize means you are trying to make them random again. So during the process of magnetization and demagnetization, this M will lag behind, and that lagging behind is what is called hysteresis. If you don't like this definition, you can see our EPL also. I have written the definition there also. So it is the lagging behind of magnetization with respect to magnetic intensity when a ferromagnetic material is magnetized and demagnetized. Okay? Any doubts are there? Please ask. Any doubts are there? You can call me also. If not, then we will end the meeting. Okay, so tomorrow's class, students, we will discuss about Earth's magnetic field, and some few things are there still based on Curie's law that I will discuss. Thank you.